Hola a todos, les cuento que hoy tenemos un invitado que pueden ver ahí en su pantalla. Él se llama Dan Price, es el fundador y director de Gravity Payments. Para muchos de ustedes, he might look familiar because he made headlines a few years ago because of something that he did that completely was against what corporations do. So maybe that's why he's familiar to you. Pero para los que no están familiarizados, hoy vamos a conversar con Dan Price sobre la economía, los cambios, la igualdad económica y de los trabajos, y también sobre una conferencia muy importante que se viene en Austin, que se llama South by Southwest. Pero welcome, Dan. How are you? Thank you for talking to us.
Oh, very well. How are you doing, Alejandra?
I'm good, thank you. So just a brief introduction for people that are seeing you maybe for the first time or that have seen you make headlines before. Basically, how this all started is that a few years ago, I believe it was in 2015, you were making $1 million a year with your company, Gravity Payments, and you decided to lower your salary and your employees' salaries to $70,000 minimum wage, and this is in Seattle. So tell me, what made you switch? What did you have a moment that made you realize that this was the best for you and your company?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was making $1 million a year, and my lowest paid employees at the time were making about $35,000 a year. So quite a big gap, 33 times the difference. And you see these stats out there about how CEOs make 300 times more than regular workers. Those had always bothered me, but mine wasn't such a big difference. So I was thinking maybe it was okay, but I realized it was not okay when I was on a hike with a friend of mine named Valerie Molina. And Valerie and I went on this hike, and she was explaining to me about how a $200 rent increase, just the annual rent increase, was really throwing her life into chaos. And I knew that was wrong because Valerie, she's a hard worker. She was making $40,000 a year. She's really smart. And so immediately I was very upset, at her employer, at why her wage was so low. As her friend, I felt protective and I was very upset about it. But then I realized that a third of my employees at my company were making less than what Valerie was making. And in that moment, I realized that if I was not going to be paying people like a good wage, that I really didn't have a business. I was really, kind of more exploiting or taking value away from the people that were really creating the value. So I decided on that hike with my friend Valerie that I was going to take $1 million pay cut in order to raise the minimum wage at my company to $70,000 per year. So a third of the employees at the company at the time got their pay doubled. And so it was really exciting, and it's been really great to be a part of it.
¿Cuáles han sido los resultados de esa decisión de cambiar completamente la estructura de tu compañía?
Well, most importantly, my employees now have financial freedom to a degree that they didn't have before. And so they have choices for how they want to live their life. I think before they were very constrained in terms of the choices.
To hiring challenges, what is your take on what led to this great resignation?
Well, there's a few things. The biggest thing is a chronic underinvestment in people. We really don't value. I think the other thing that is very true is that it has to do with immigration, because if you continue to treat immigrants of all kinds worse and worse and worse and make their situation worse every year, well, eventually, you're not going to have, those people coming in who can help your economy, who are willing to do really difficult jobs and really, frankly, don't expect, a whole lot. I wish that, our immigrants could expect much better from us. But I think, if you look at it, if you look at what immigration looked like, as of 5-6 years ago, and you look at how much it fell the last 5 or 6 years, we're probably missing out on 5 to 7 million workers who could be helping our economy right now, just because of the political divisiveness and the crisis that it's created in terms of, treating immigrants, particularly from Mexico and Central America, very, very poorly and inhumanely in this country. So I think that's also contributing to those labor shortage, great resignation, all of those factors.
In fact, and I have noticed the following that you have with the younger Hispanic generations. Is there anything that you would like to say to them?
I would say be loyal to yourself. Be loyal to yourself more than you are to your employer or your corporation. Be loyal to your family. Think about your health, your work-life balance. And, I think that the message of this country for so long has been just work and neglect yourself, neglect your family, and just work constantly. I know that many people are trapped where that's their only option, and I hate that. And I would say, I'm sorry, and I wish that wasn't the case. You're not alone. But I would say for everybody that can, try to hold that line where you don't overwork, you don't overserve your corporation, you don't, work a bunch of free hours or do everything they ask you to, because that creates a situation where they just ask for more, and they always ask for more and they never stop. So I'd say instead, put that sort of care into yourself, your loved ones, the people that are close to you, and, give them that care. But, with a corporation, I would say, doing the minimum that you feel like you need to is probably in most cases the best strategy, rather than doing too much.
Yeah, and it's interesting with the younger Hispanics that rebel, because we come from very traditional parenting styles. So if you don't follow certain norms, it's not acceptable.
Yeah.
But we have seen how they do take their own course, and they kind of show you can still be successful by, like you said, be loyal to yourself. So I think that's